Write Hao Hao's name on the house. The car also has Hao Hao's name written on it. For the remaining money, Hao Hao will take 12 million and you will take. Mom paused and glanced at me. You're a girl. Why do you need so much money? I stood in the middle of the living room, looking at the A4 paper on the table filled with numbers. 20 million, not a cent of it is mine. The phone vibrates. It was a message from the company's finance department. Mr. Jiang, the net profit for this quarter is 17 million and the dividend has been received. I turned over the phone. Okawa. Burrow 1. Okay. Mom was stunned for a moment, as if she didn't expect that I would be so happy. Sister-in-law Lu Min stood up from the sofa with an unconcealable smile on her face. Sister, don't worry. Hao Hao will definitely not forget you when he gets rich in the future. I didn't look at her. I'm looking at the family photo on the wall. It was taken 3 years ago. I was standing at the very edge, smiling reluctantly, shouting, don't blame your parents. Dad sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette. Your brother wants to get married, buy a house, and support a family. As a girl, you will become someone else's family when you get married. I have heard this for 28 years. When I was a child, my brother's tuition was paid and mine was borrowed. Later, I found out that the borrowed money was earned from my summer job. Dad, I understand. I bent down and pulled up the suitcase. Then I'll go back first. The company still has something to do. Go back. Mom stood up and said, you're celebrating the Chinese New Year. Why are you going back? Are you leaving without even eating? Not hungry. You kid. Mom. I interrupted her, my voice even. After all the 20 million yuan has been divided, why should I stay here, waiting for you to give me 200 yuan for the New Year? The living room was quiet for 2 seconds. Lu Min burst out laughing. Sister, what you said makes it sound like your parents have treated you badly. Since you were a child, your parents have provided you with everything you need for food, clothing, and use? I turned to look at her. She was wearing a goose yellow down jacket today. The fur collar on the cuffs was made of Real fox fur, and a thin gold necklace was exposed to the collar. When she first got married last year, she wore a cotton padded jacket that cost 30 yuan from a street stall. I didn't say anything, just pulled the suitcase and walked out. Stop. Mom rushed over and blocked the door. Zhang shouting, tell me clearly, where did I treat you badly? You have 200 yuan a month for living expenses. Do you have other people's daughters? When you were in college, we sold iron to help you study. Mom. I looked at her. You gave me a total of 4,800 yuan during my 4 years in college. Other living expenses, tuition fees, and accommodation fees are all earned by me. Mom was stunned. What are you talking nonsense about? In September 2014, when I started my freshman year, you gave me 2,000 yuan. In February 2015, during the Chinese New Year, you gave me 500. In August 2015, when the summer vacation was over, you gave me 800. In February 2016, during the Chinese New Year, you gave me 500. During the summer vacation of 2016, you didn't give me a penny. In 2017, you gave me 1,000 yuan. You said it was my lucky money, but it was actually my lucky money. My voice was calm, like I was reading a bill. Total 4,800. Divide by 4 years, 1,200 per year. Divide by 12 months, 100 per month. No one spoke in the living room. My younger brother Zhang Hao raised his head from his phone and looked at me with a frown. Sister, why do you remember these? I have a good memory. I opened the door. During those 4 years, my brother's living expenses were 2,000 per month, plus tuition and accommodation fees. Same parents, same home. He earns 2,000 a month and I earn 100 a month. The door slammed shut. 02. I dragged my suitcase to the gate of the community and took a taxi. The phone vibrated again. It was a message from the company's operations director. Mr. Jiang, the annual cooperation with Douyin has been finalized. A payment of 3 million is required and your signature is required. I replied, go back to the company tomorrow to deal with it. Outside the car window, the streets of my hometown recede. I am very familiar with the city. To the east is the primary school I went to when I was a child. The playground was still dirt and it would be covered with mud when it rained. The first milk tea shop where I worked was on the west side. The salary was 8 yuan an hour. I worked there for 3 summer vacations. To the north is a private middle school where my younger brother attends, with a tuition fee of 30,000 yuan a year. I haven't been to that school. I went to an ordinary middle school on the outskirts of a city, and it took me 40 minutes by bicycle. The driver glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Girl, are you staying home during the Chinese New Year? Young people should spend more time with their parents. I didn't answer. My daughter also works out of town and comes back for 2 or 3 days throughout the year. Her mother cries every time she leaves. Master, we've arrived. I paid and got off. The high-speed rail station was crowded with people, all rushing home to celebrate the New Year. A mother and daughter passed by me. The daughter, who was probably in her early 20s, was holding her mother's arm. Mom, don't worry, I've already made a reservation. Let's go to Sonya together in the 3rd grade of junior high school. Is it too expensive? It's not expensive, I have money. I stood there and watched them walk away. In the waiting room, I found a corner and sat down. Open your phone and pull out a memo. It contains accounts one by one from when I was 18 to now. September 2014, the tuition was 6,800 and my mother gave me 2,000. The difference was 4,800, which I paid in advance myself. October 2014, living expenses, my mother gave me 0 and I earned 1,200 part-time. December 2014, in winter, I needed to buy a down jacket. My mother said we would wait until the Chinese New Year, so I used my part-time job money to buy one at a special price of 89 yuan. One by one, densely packed. 10 years, I remember 10 years. Not out of grudge. It's because I'm afraid I'll forget. I'm afraid that one day I really believe what they say. We didn't treat you badly. You're a girl. Why do you need so much money? Your brother will support this family in the future. I'm afraid that one day I will feel that all this is normal. I'm afraid that one day I will become such a person. The high-speed rail tickets are checked. I stood up, carried my bag, and stood in the long queue. The phone vibrated again behind me. It was a WeChat message from Mom, shouting, "When you come back, Mom will cook your favorite braised pork." I looked at it for 2 seconds and didn't reply. Put the phone back in your pocket. 03. On the 29th of the 12th lunar month, I returned to the city where I work. The company is on holiday, but the finance department is still on duty. I went to the office, signed, and then returned to my apartment. 180 square meters, floor-to-ceiling windows. You can see the night view of the entire city. This is the third house I have bought. The first one I bought was the year I graduated from college. It was a small apartment in the suburbs. I saved the down payment from working. The second set was bought after the company made a profit for the first time in the city center as a reward for myself. I bought this set last year. I stood in front of the window and looked at the lights of thousands of houses outside. The phone rang. It's a video call from my mother. I pressed reject. A few seconds later, the voice message came in, shouting, "Why don't you answer the phone? Mom knows that I talked a bit harshly this afternoon, but it's also for your own good. As a girl, having too much money is not a good thing. It will easily attract the attention of thieves. Your brother is different. He has to support the family." I threw my phone on the sofa and went to the kitchen to cook myself a bowl of noodles. After eating the noodles, I took a shower and lay on the bed. The ceiling is white and clean. There is no damp mold like in my hometown, no sounds of games coming from my brother's room next door, and no mother watching TV in the living room and saying, "You're a girl?" Very quiet. I stared at the ceiling and suddenly remembered something. During the Chinese New Year last year, I transferred 10,000 yuan to my mother, saying I wanted to buy her a down jacket. She took the money and bought a Max Mara coat. The price is 16,800. The difference was made up by my younger brother. No, it was my sister-in-law who made up for it. My sister-in-law had just gotten married at that time and was trying her best to show her filial piety. That coat is still hanging in Mom's closet, and she can't bear to wear it. But during the coldest time last winter, she came to pick me up at the high-speed rail station wearing an old cotton padded jacket. "Don't spend that wasted money on me. I'll keep the coat for you to wear when you get married." I said nothing. I don't know what to say. The phone vibrated again. This time it was from my brother. "Sister, calm down. It's not like you don't know your parents' tempers. But we are a family after all. What can't we say properly? It's still too late for you to come back now. I'll ask Mimin to make a good meal for you." I stared at those lines for a long time. Then he replied with 2 words. "Need not." 04. New Year's Eve. I spent it alone in my apartment. There were ingredients in the kitchen that I had prepared in advance, and I made a few simple dishes. Eat alone, watch the Spring Festival Gala alone, and wait for the fireworks at 12 o'clock. No one brought me food and said, "Eat more." No one urged me to bring my boyfriend back when. No one said, "You are a girl?" Quiet. Just a bit cold. The phone keeps ringing. Colleagues are sending red envelopes in the group, Partier's fathers are sending blessings, and the celebrity artists they collaborate with are sending New Year greeting videos. The family group is also ringing. Hao's wife is really virtuous, and the food on the table looks delicious. Why didn't Shouting come back? This kid won't go home during the Chinese New Year. Young people are busy with work. What are you busy with? 4 to 5,000 yuan a month. What are you busy with? That is, Hao doesn't have to go to work now. She is a girl and runs out every day. I looked at the messages in the group and said nothing. Then he left the family group. At 12 o'clock, the fireworks exploded. It was very bright and lively outside the window. I stood in front of the window and watched for a long time. The phone rang. It was sent by my assistant. "Mr. Jiang, Happy New Year. The company account has just received a final payment, which is the annual cooperation payment of a certain brand, 3.87 million, and has been confirmed." I replied, "Okay, thank you for your hard work and Happy New Year." He glanced out the window again. This year's fireworks seemed to be better than last year's. On the first day of junior high school, I didn't go out. In the second year of junior high school, my mother called, but I didn't answer. In the third year of junior high school, my father called me, but I didn't answer the phone. On the morning of the 4th day of the Lunar New Year, I was working on the work after the New Year at the company, and my phone rang. It's the younger brother. I hesitated and accepted. "Sister, what do you mean?" His voice was a little rushed. "What do you mean? Your parents called you more than a dozen times, but you didn't answer. You even left the family group. What do you want to do?" I put the file down. "What don't I want to do?" "Then why didn't you call me back?" "I'm busy." "What are you busy with?" His voice grew louder. "You earn 4 to 5,000 a month. What are you busy with?" "I'm telling you," Zhang shouting, "don't pretend to me. You're just angry." I said nothing. "My parents gave me their house and car because I want to support my family. I want to support my wife and children. Why do you want so much money as a single person? You are just selfish." Finished. After that, hang up. I still have a contract to sign. I hang up. The fingers are shaking a little. Take a deep breath. Take another deep breath. It's fine. I've long been used to it. 05. On the 5th day of the lunar month, things changed. Mom sent me a WeChat message, shouting, "Your dad is hospitalized." I stared at those words for 5 seconds. Then he replied with 1 word. "Oh." Mom replied instantly. "You just said, oh." "Your dad is so angry about you that his blood pressure has soared to 180, so you just reply, oh?" Jiang shouting, "Do you still have a conscience?" I put the phone down and continued reading the documents. Another 10 minutes later, my brother's call came in. "Sister, you really won't come back?" No reply. "Dad is in the hospital." "I know." "You know you haven't come back yet?" "Why should I go back? I'm not a doctor." There was silence on the other end of the phone for 2 seconds. Then the younger brother's voice changed, with a hint of choking. Sister, I know your parents have been unfair to you over the years, but he's your dad after all. Can't you come back and take a look? I said nothing. Sister, I beg you. I took a deep breath. Good. 6 hours later, I stood at the door of the hospital room. Opening the door, the ward was very lively. My mother was sitting by the bed peeling apples, my sister-in-law was playing with her mobile phone, and my brother was standing by the window answering the phone. Dad was lying on the bed with a rosy face, watching TV. It doesn't look like his blood pressure has spiked to 180. I go in. Dad, how do you feel? Dad glanced at me, snorted, and turned his head away. You still know how to come back? Mom put down the fruit knife with a complicated expression on her face. There was a little bit of relief, but more of a blame. Shouting, why did you come back? Your dad has been talking about you every day for the past 2 days. I'm busy with work. Busy, busy, busy. Just know that you are busy. Your brother is not as busy as you. My sister-in-law raised her head from her phone, glanced at me, and gave a faint smile at the corner of her mouth. The younger brother hung up the phone and came over. Sister, it's good that you're here. You talk to your parents first, and I'll go out and take a call. He walked out. There were only 4 of us left in the ward. Mom continued to peel the apple. Dad still doesn't look at me. My sister-in-law continued to play with her mobile phone. The atmosphere was dull. I stood for a while and found a chair to sit down. Mom handed me the peeled apple. Eat. I took it and took a bite. Very sweet. It's the same flavor I had when I was a kid. 06. Dad was in the hospital for 3 days. By the 3rd day, I realized something was wrong. His blood pressure had long since returned to normal, but he refused to be discharged from the hospital. I just lay in bed every day, eat and drink well, and even let my mother go out to buy birds' nests. I'll also buy a ginseng stick. I sat in the corner and watched the scene without saying anything. In the evening, my brother took me to the hospital cafeteria for dinner. Sister, I have to discuss something with you. What's up? He picked up a piece of food with chopsticks but put it down without eating. It's like this. Dad spent a lot of money on being hospitalized this time. I looked at him. His eyes were a little evasive. As you know, I don't have a job now, and Minmin is pregnant again. I put down my chopsticks. What do you want to say? Sister, can you give me some cushion first? How much padding? Medical expenses, nursing expenses, and nutrition expenses add up to almost 30,000 yuan. 30,000. I smiled a little. It's only been a few days since the 20 million was distributed, and you're already out of money? The younger brother's face suddenly turned red. Sister, what do you mean by this? It's not interesting. I stood up. I won't spend the 30,000 yuan. You go back and tell your parents that even though I save 200 yuan a month for living expenses, I still can't save 30,000 yuan. I picked up my coat and walked outside. Zhang Xiaoding. My brother grabbed my arm. Don't go too far. Who do you think you are? You, a woman, earn such a dead salary. What qualifications do you have to show off to me? I looked down at his hand, holding mine. Then he raised his head and looked into his eyes. Let go. He was stunned for a moment. My voice was calm, but he seemed to see something in my eyes. He let go. I straightened my sleeves, turned around, and left. From behind, his voice came chasing after him, filled with anger and disbelief. Zhang Xiaoding, don't regret it. 07. I didn't go back to the ward. We took a taxi directly to the high-speed rail station. In the waiting room, I bought a ticket for the nearest train. The phone rang. It's Mom. I answered. Xiaoding, where have you been? How said you left? Why did you leave without saying hello? Your dad hasn't been discharged from the hospital yet. He's not sick. There was silence on the other end of the phone for 2 seconds. What do you mean? Mom, Dad's blood pressure has been normal for a long time. Who are you pretending to show it to? Zhang Xiaoding, why are you talking? I'm telling the truth. You. Mom, if you want money, just ask. There's no need to act like this. There was complete silence on the other end of the phone. After a long time, my mother's voice sounded again, with a crying tone. Xiaoding, why have you become like this? You were not like this before. Yeah, I wasn't like this before. I looked out the window. I used to get 200 yuan a month for living expenses, save money, and send the rest to you. I used to buy a lot of things every time I went home, and I couldn't bear to eat or wear them. I heard you say you were a girl before, and I really believed it. But Mom, that was before. My voice was calm. Now I don't want to endure it anymore. I hung up the phone. The ticket gate is open. I dragged my suitcase and got into the queue. The cell phone rang again behind me, one after another, but I didn't answer it. After getting on the high-speed train, I turned my phone to silent. The scenery outside the window recedes rapidly. I close my eyes. Many images come to mind. When I was a kid, for my brother's birthday, the cake was 2-tiered with colorful candles on the buttercream. For my birthday, my mother cooked a bowl of noodles and said, "Noodles live longer." When I was in junior high school, my younger brother wanted to attend a cram school, and my father spent 8,000 yuan to sign up for one-on-one tuition. My grades were first in my grade, and my dad said, "Why do girls read so many books? They don't want to get married in the future." During the college entrance examination year, I was admitted to a key provincial university. My younger brother passed the 3 majors in the province. Dad said, "Xiaoding, your sister, ask your brother to give him the admission notice." That is the most ridiculous sentence I have ever heard in my life. I didn't let it. I went to college. But since then, my family has never given me a penny. Aren't you capable? If you are capable, you can support yourself. I opened my eyes. Outside the window, it was already dark. 08. On the 8th day of the lunar month, I returned to the company. Everything is business as usual. Meetings, signings, meeting clients, discussing cooperation. I set all family messages on my phone to do not disturb. On the 10th day of the lunar month, I was having a video conference with my collaborators when my assistant knocked on the door and came in. Mr. Jeong, someone is looking for you outside. Who? It's a pair of old people. I was stunned for a moment. Let them wait in the reception room. 10 minutes later, I opened the door to the reception room. Dad and Mom sat on the sofa and looked around. Seeing me coming in, my mother stood up immediately, shouting. Her words stopped, because she saw me. What I'm wearing today is a black business suit from Chanel, which was given to me by the brand last month. On her feet are a pair of stiletto heels, and on her ears are a pair of pearl earrings. It's completely different from the street clothes I used to wear when I went home. Mom, Dad, why are you here? My voice was calm. Sit down. I sat across from them. Mom opened her mouth, but nothing came out for a long time. Dad's eyes swept around me and then looked at the reception room. Floor-to-ceiling windows, leather sofas, and photos hanging on the walls, photos of me with various celebrities and entrepreneurs. Shouting. Dad's voice was a little dry. What are you? This is my company. I said calmly. I'm the boss. 09. It was quiet in the drawing room. It was so quiet that you could hear the ticking of the clock on the wall. Mom's mouth was open and didn't close for a long time. Dad's face changed several times, from shock to disbelief, and finally to embarrassment. You run a company? Mom finally found her voice. When did it happen? Why have I never heard of you? I opened it the year I graduated from college, and it's been 6 years now. I looked at them. You never ask. Mom's face suddenly turned red. How would we know? You never said. Would you believe me if I told you? Mom was stunned. Last year during the Chinese New Year, I said I received a year-end bonus of 50,000 yuan, but you said I was bragging. The year before last, I said that I had been promoted. What's the use of a girl being promoted? You should quickly find someone to marry. The year before last, I said I bought a house, but you said I had 4,000 to 5,000 a month. What kind of house would I buy? It must be rented. My voice was calm, as if I was stating some irrelevant facts. So, I stopped talking about it later. Anyway, in your eyes, I will always be that girl, the daughter who only deserves 200 yuan for living expenses. Mom's eyes were red. Shouting, Mom didn't mean that. What do you mean? I looked at her. 20 million, my brother got more than 19.9 million, and I got 0. Tell me, what do you mean? Mom opened her mouth, but no words came out. Dad suddenly stood up. Jiang shouting, are you blaming us? His voice rose. We raised you so big, fed you, and clothed you. Now that you are rich, you come to settle accounts with us? Feed me? I stood up too. Dad, what did you do to support me? You gave me a total of 4,800 yuan during my 4 years in college. I spent 3 years in high school with a monthly living expenses of 200 plus the money I spent to buy snacks for my brother. When I was in junior high school, you took all my New Year's money and said you would save it for me and then bought a computer for my brother. When I was in elementary school, you asked me to give my scholarship to my younger brother because my younger brother would be sad if he didn't win the award. I said it word for word. Dad, tell me, what did you do to support me? Dad's face turned red. Your wings are stiff, right? Do you dare to talk back to me? I'm not talking back. I looked at him. I'm trying to reason with you. 28 years, I've been holding back my truth for 28 years. 10. The door was pushed open. The younger brother rushed in, his face flushed. Sister, how can you talk to your parents like this? Behind him were his sister-in-law Lu Min and a man in a suit who looked like he was a friend invited by his younger brother. Your parents came all the way to see you, and this is your attitude? I looked at him. What are you here for? I'll be the judge. He strode up to me. Don't you know how your parents have treated you over the years? Now that you are rich, why don't you turn your back on them? How about me? I smiled slightly. Tell me, what do you do to me? I'll feed you, drink you, and go to college. They gave me a total of 4,800 yuan during my 4 years of college. The younger brother was stunned for a moment. You're talking nonsense. Am I talking nonsense? I took a folder out of my bag and threw it on the coffee table. See for yourself. The younger brother opened the folder and his expression changed little by little. That's all the accounts I've compiled over the years. Every money, where it comes from, where it goes. Every penny I receive, every penny I spend. All are documented. I have recorded all the money my parents gave me over the years here. My voice was calm. $23,400 in total. I have also recorded the money your parents have given you over the years. A total of 1,687,200 yuan. The younger brother's face suddenly turned pale. Why do you remember these? I have a good memory. I looked at him, and I'm afraid you won't admit it. Lu Min grabbed the folder, flipped through 2 pages, and then threw it to the ground. Zhang shouting, what do you mean? Are you deliberately plotting against us? What did I plot against you? You. She opened her mouth but couldn't speak. I bent down, picked up the folder, and patted the dust on it. I have kept copies of these accounts and have them notarized. If you think I made a mistake, you can check it at any time. There was dead silence in the drawing room. 11. Dad suddenly spoke. Shouting, those things are all in the past. His tone softened. My parents did something wrong before, but we are a family after all. Family? I looked at him. Dad, 20 million. You didn't give me a penny. You tell me you're a family? That's not done yet. Mom interrupted, her voice a little flustered. Your brother will take it first and later. What's next? I interrupted her. When my brother finishes squandering his money, will he come to me again and ask for it? The younger brother's face suddenly turned red. Sister, what are you talking about? Did I say something wrong? I turned to look at him. Your company has been in business for 3 years. How much has it lost? The younger brother was stunned. You think I don't know? I said calmly. Your company has a registered capital of 1 million, which was given by my parents. It suffered a total of 2.8 million losses in 3 years, all of which were filled by my parents. Now that more than 19.9 million yuan in demolition money has been allocated to you, how long can you hold on? The younger brother's face turned red and white. How did you know? I told you I have a good memory. I looked at him. Moreover, your company's financial statements are public. The reception room became quiet again. The younger brother's breathing became heavier, and Lumen's face became increasingly ugly. Mom finally couldn't help crying. Shouting, Mom knows I've been sorry for you all these years, but your brother has no ability, unlike you. Mom has no choice but to... No way. I looked at her. Mom, it's not that you can't help it. You think that your daughter is just a waste of money, and she doesn't need to support her in old age anyway. You think that no matter how useless your son is, he is still a member of your own family. You think no matter how capable I am just a tool that can be thrown away after use. Mom's tears flowed more fiercely. Mom didn't mean that. What do you mean? My voice is still so calm. You say. 12. Mom was speechless. Dad was also speechless. The younger brother was even more livid. Only Lumen suddenly spoke. Sister, please don't speak so harshly. Her voice was high-pitched, with a hint of pride. My parents prefer Hao Hao. That's because Hao Hao is the only child in the family and will continue the family line in the future. You're a girl, and you will become someone else's family when you get married. Why should you share so much money? I turned to look at her. She was wearing a brand-name outfit and a Cartier bracelet on her hand, which she bought with the bride price. You're right. I nodded. I am an outsider. I am not qualified to share the 20 million. But I interrupted her. You're an outsider too. Lumen's face suddenly froze. You've only been married for a year. Why should you get a share of the 20 million? I am Hao Hao's wife. You are Hao Hao's wife, not the Jiang family's daughter. I looked at her. According to your logic, you are also an outsider, and you are not qualified to share the money. Lumen's face turned red. You are talking nonsense. Am I talking nonsense? I pulled a piece of paper out of the folder. See for yourself what this is. She took it, and her expression suddenly changed. That is a transfer record. It shows that on the 3rd day after the demolition money arrived, there was a transfer of 5 million from his brother's account to Lumen's personal account. Hao Hao. She screamed and turned to her brother. Didn't you say this is our private money? How would she know? The younger brother's face suddenly turned pale. What are you? Lumen grabbed his collar. You promised me. These 5 million are my dowry money. You said you wouldn't let anyone know. My parents' expressions also changed. Hao, what's going on? The younger brother stammered and couldn't speak. I stood aside and watched the scene quietly. And this. I pulled out another piece of paper. This is my brother's consumption record in the past 3 months. Dad took it and his hands began to shake. Club, bar, golf, spending 470,000 a month? He raised his head and looked at his brother. Hao, didn't you say you were discussing business? The younger brother's face turned completely pale. And an hour later, my parents and I were the only ones left in the reception room. The younger brother and Lumen quarreled, slammed the door, and left. Mom is still crying. Dad was sitting on the sofa, smoking one cigarette after another. Shouting. Mom raised her head, her eyes red and swollen. Mom knows I was wrong. Mom is really sorry for you these years. I looked at her and said nothing. Can you give your brother a chance? Mom. I interrupted her. This is the 3rd time you've said it today. Mom was stunned. My younger brother lost all his money, so you asked me to give him a chance. My younger brother lost all his demolition money, so you asked me to give him a chance. How many chances did I give him? During the college entrance examination, you asked me to give him my admission letter. I didn't, but I didn't tell anyone. He lost money when he started a company, so he borrowed 200,000 from me, and I didn't ask him to pay it back. When he got married and bought a house, I followed him for $100,000. Did you know that? Mom opened her mouth, but couldn't speak. I've given enough chances. I stood up. But Mom, opportunities are for those who are willing to change. Brother, he doesn't want to change at all. I walked to the door and stopped. I give this to you. I put a card on the table. There's 1 million in it, enough to support you in your old age. As for my brother, I turned around. He is an adult. Let him solve his own problems. I opened the door and walked out. Behind me, my mother cried. I didn't look back. The corridor is very long. I walked step by step. The sun shines in through the floor-to-ceiling windows and is very warm. The phone rang. It was a message from the assistant. Mr. Jiang, the afternoon meeting is ready. It will start at 3 o'clock. I replied, okay. Put the phone back in your pocket. Outside the window, the city is very big and prosperous. This city has my company, my house, and my life. 28 years. I can finally live just for myself.